peeps, welcome back to Wee Trees. We've got our leaf coats running out to work here, and we also have ourselves a bit of a drought warning in 3 days, which is no good because that's the least amount of temperate season we can bloody get here. And we've got a whole new old tree to rebuild. I mean, the leaf coats are making fair dinkum progress rebuilding the tree, like. There's a few things that need to be cracking along with though before we can unleash the old beaver plants over here to zip their wee hour and populate this old historic settlement. And one thing that definitely needs some work up here is this bloody hodgepodge path that we've got going on. We need to properly decide where we're going to get with district crossings and ensure that the big Auld Wee Tree district can actually see everything it needs to see. So I'm designating these 6 blocks right here, these 2, and then the 4 we've just emptied for the district crossing. We're going to sever this bit of path right here, and this is where it gets fun, where we ask the poor leaf coats to start demolishing alive plants, something that they hate doing. But it's a necessary evil, you know. I'm also going to get rid of this gatherer hut. I'm going to relocate both of the gatherer huts I've just deleted to our ear on this bit of water. So we'll get a path along there, and then we'll get some fancy pants gatherer huts either side, and they can see everything they need to bloody see. Don't worry, I'm not forgetting the foresters. They serve a very important purpose as well. Almost as important as the bloody swimming pools. Now we're going to have some swimming pools over yonder way, and if we can squeeze it in, we're going to have to yonk a fountain of joy over here. Oh, it can fit right there. And we'll have them pouring water on all the swimmers, just like we do. Over here. Oh, I love me a good fountain of joy. I also love the green leafy fountain of joy beavers on the top there. Such little cuties. And I reckon I'm going to get proper fancy with it here. Metal fence either side with a metal gate in the middle there. Now that screams elegance. I mean, not quite as much as an underwater hedge, followed by some properly connecting in underwater lanterns. Look at those mad lads. They connect right in there. Now, providing the metal lanterns don't rust away, I reckon this will be tickety-boo. Except for the lack of a contemplation spot over here. I've also just thought I could pop some properly connected platforms down there, and they can be bonus bloody space. Because we're not going to be planting crops with the power shafts, are we? So let's get ourselves a wee detailer on the crack. And then purely because I saw patch notes saying that these roofs were all fancy and connecting and that. Oh, look at those that connect to the side. Well, that's bloody lovely, innit? We can have a fancy roof there next to the detailer. And I feel like while we're here with the big Auld Wee Tree, we may as well play it safe. Pop a sluice on there. It'll close above downstream depth of 1, which means it'll always be open. But if I ever want to, segregate this big old bit of water in the back from these falls here that irrigate all of these lovely green trees, then I bloody well can't I? I can just close this sluice. I just went ahead and popped a bit of propaganda about this fountain of joy. Just, in case there are any inquisitive beavers knocking about. You know what? This doesn't need to be a hedge. This can be a bloody propaganda poster. There we go. There's no escaping the cupcakes or the droughts when you're under the natural overhang. And 16 days? Not terrible. Not great. But not bloody terrible. Be gone, what Ashleyber? Because I've got a big use for this area and it requires there being no path beyond here. Be gone. Because I want to go ahead and get myself a proper fancy pants tribute to Inja bloody Newity. Look at that bad lad facing the entire Wee Trees map, and most importantly, allowing all of the dandelions to be planted underneath it. And the reason we're leaving this path in situ is so we can plonk planks across the top and get some power connecting over there. A little something like that. Now, our tribute to Ingenuity can be powered by the big old windmill and kept powered by the big old batteries knocking about here. Hang on, what's going on here? Whoa! I swear I saw a beaver in there, Or were they just running past? Not actually contemplating? Alright, so long as we didn't have any beavers in the Auld Wee Tree. Hang about. Why is this just district centre? Is the big Auld Wee Tree just district centre at all? It is! We've got 2 district centres on the crack here. I guess it's a bit of a bug. we'll have to wait for that to get sorted and then we'll rename our districts once again. And I've just had a thought to make this far prettier. Big on all of these. If we run power shafts straight out the side, all the way around the back here, then we'll be able to get up and plug in from the back. Out of sight, out of mind, you know. And when there's water there, you won't even see the power shafts. And then to ensure beavers still have access over here, we can plonk some planks on. And then a bog standard, normal straight stair in the front here. And what that thankfully means is we can get rid of this bloody suspension bridge that's too fancy for back here. Far too fancy. We've already got 2 of the feckers, man. We'd even need a 3rd one knocking about. Because if this 3rd one is just a regular old platform, then we have paths connecting straight off the side there, which will allow us to delete these 2 laddies that are taking up valuable green growing ground and relocate them somewhere along the middle here. Well, more specifically, this bit in the back here. Because not only is this green growing ground not as valuable, but if we put foresters either side of it, it helps hide the bloody power cord, doesn't it? And definitely not because the forester range stops exactly where those buildings were. We're going to be plopping in some more buildings down the back here. But not before setting loose 3 beaver lumberjacks to chop down all these trees along here. And I mean all the way up here. Oh, and look at that, well, leaf coats are bloody raring to get at it. They're already here. They're already chipping, chomping away. How's that lovely guilt-free plant murdering treating you, beavers? I bet yous bloody love it. There's a lot of purple-tailed beavers over here enjoying the guilt-free plant murdering like. Strange old coincidence. And hopefully having logs in fresh supply will help our very quickly dwindling log supply. And it's not like we've got enough branches to keep up with anything, is it? And let's do it. Let's sort out this hodgepodge of different paths that we've got knocking about here. And there we have it. Looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? I'm not concerned about any of these being actually accessible or anything. I'm quite literally just waiting for the water supply to drain on them so I can delete them. And I'm just over here trying to fancify the whole entrance system. So I'm going to go for a little bit of shrubbery in the middle. And then we're going to come up on platforms, connecting in nicely with the levees there. Canny little bonus. So I can plonk a couple of more lanterns down. And then give the beaver somewhere to sit and chillax, you know? There we go. I'm happy with that as a little chill out area on the front for the beavers. And something that's not new to these bloody leaf coats is having to advance the tree chopping front line and even put in some fancy ladder traps so they can flank the trees from all sides. And once again, nothing to do with the fact that the forester range doesn't reach all of the way. I think it might be fun to do some fences on the outside here, just to mark off the Auld Wee Tree's land and the wild lands beyond it. And since I'm using metal fences, I can show you the proper fancy metal lantern connecting textures. Look at that madness there. Of course, we didn't want to put one in the middle there. It looks a bit daft. Let's get mildly fancy with it. As in, slap a big clock in there for the beavers so they can see what time it is. Oh, look who it is! It's bloody Bobingabout with his green hat on. Oh, this should look mad. Hello! Oh, walking through his... Hello, Bobingabout! You big red beaver with your fancy green hat on. Having yourself a proper mingle with all the leaf coats, are you? I can't wait to see you flying in the bloody wind tunnel like just... Oh, I'm up in the air like a big beaver. That's not going to happen until we get the rest of this Auld Wee Tree built. Which, to be fair, they're not that far off, are they? Oh, the water's dried out. 3.2 days. Mangroves. Will you survive? Why, aye, 6.1 days. Now's a matter. Oh no, the beavers have finally banged up the bloody dandelions. Look, here's a fresh plant mortarer. Nice, happy, easy conscience. Now, they need to sleep on what they've just done. And I've just been thinking, peeps, if we've got a bloody contemplation spot here, we have to have a contemplation spot. Our here, facing it. The old contemplation stare off there. Oh, and seeing that gate did remind me, can we put an arch banner over here? We certainly can. Maybe not exactly where I want it, but I think that might just have to do. Just to let you know that it's 15 grilled chestnuts to get into the swimming hole. And don't be whinging about the fact you're not grilling any chestnuts or growing any chestnut trees. Just import them and pay your dandelion tax. And I've just realised if I centre the district crossing on these 3 stairs, it's not centred with the way down here. And what matters is the Auld Wee Tree district. Not the big Auld Wee Tree district, That's got the rest of the space on the map to itself. So hopefully we get a beaver that's already a plant mortarer to come mortar those 2 dandelions there. Ooh, well, we've got 1.1 days left of this bloody drought. Let's delete this floodgate here and replace it with a proper fancy pants flat top floodgate. And I may not end up doing these little fancy designs, so we'll delete them for now. I've just maximum prioritised the top of this tree because I have a sneaking suspicion it's out of bloody range. But if nothing else, we've got the water flowing down again, moistening all of our bloody croppage. Now just to make sure our cheeky beavers don't end up going swimming in these bloody new pools, because it's not for them, it's for the Auld Wee Tree settlers. Plus, before all of these big Auld Wee Tree beavers can go swimming in their baths, they need to fill up the lake and swim in the natural baths first. Them's the rules. If not else, with the Auld Wee Tree under construction, we've got beavers picking up logs. Look at this mad lad. We've got a gatherer with now to D, so they've said, you know what? I'm gonna go and be useful and haul logs from A to B. And you know what, Usbra? That makes you a top beaver. There's officially been 0 progress made to any of these blocks here, and it's all maximum priority. We still have 871 logs, and unfortunately, I reckon that means we're gonna have to go ahead and unpause this stack and get bloody building it, just so I can get the last layer and a half on the bloody big Auld Wee Tree, man. This is the Timberborn way, like. I can't complain. Oh, my beavers can't even power the bloody wind tunnel because they can't get to the power shafts. I suppose it's good that we've got the big fancy branch bridges so I can just go and plonk on there, beavers, hang over the edge, and build these 3 power shafts. Well, 2. We don't want the big Auld Wee Treeers getting on the wind tunnel. Oh, and here we go, beeps. We haven't had one this episode, and have fun with a mad angle to do a big old speedy up bit of the ladders / small warehouses getting erected to nigh on the top of the tree, which will allow our big old leaf coat beavers to erect the tip of the Auld Wee Tree. And you can also keep an eye on the water level at the big old lake down there. See if you can spy any beavers having a swim so we can unlock the baths for them. And while we're in a speedy up bit, I feel like asking, how do you like this owl district? Because my original plan when doing this map was to put trees in the lake and only use the ground where I currently have 4 food grown quadrants. And since then, we've went crazy chopping down all the trees down the side of the map. We've put a wee tree up just for the bloody bad water rig. And we've most certainly expanded our land use outside the 4 fruit grown quadrants. And I'm quite looking forward to having the Auld Wee Tree historic settlement back up and running. And the only thing that's historic about it is that the trees are the same location. Everything else around there is completely changed. Because it's a strange owl setup. Like I say, we don't expect them to do any building. We just want to keep them taking our happily slurping and feeding themselves. And all of these beavers are going to be homeless. Have to start their life by ziplining across from the big Auld Wee Tree district, which we've sort of like carved an enclave out of. For the Auld Wee Tree district, beavers to be birthed and then zip out and live here. Oh, I love that little enclave breeding ground, like. But we can't move any beavers in until all the building's done for them. Oh no! The water's gone, and we've still got 6.1 days remaining. If nothing else, we may as well pick all of the bloody fruits off the mangroves, you know? Get ourselves some more fancy fruit salad, and most importantly, some fancy apples on the crack down here. But by the looks of things, our big Auld Wee Treeers got this Auld Wee Tree all built up here. So we can go ahead and demolish all of these small warehouses and ladders and get 176 logs back out of it. Now, I did build the forester, but didn't actually tell them to plant any mangroves down here, so we don't have mangroves big chilling down here ready to be popped whenever the water comes round again. But we will do in 6 days. And with a simple hedge path over the top, we can go across the top, the forester can go down and plant all the mangroves. Now, there is one thing we're missing over here. A bloody gatherer hut. How we going to pick up the mangroves? Well, you see, thanks to us having fancy pants ladders on the crack over here, we can build up. But before we build the platform atop the platform, we've got to delete the bloody forester. Like I say, complete nut away since I didn't tell it to bloody plant all the mangroves. But we now just need to clear the height of this simple gatherer hut, which should be done by 2 metal platforms 2 hour hangs like that. And then we can pop a real casual forester on like that. And hopefully it sees the whole pool, which it bloody does. So that is perfect. And having the ladders and everything down there allows us to pop in a fancy pants contemplation spot down here. And having a look down here, we have officially picked up all the scrap on the map. At least the ones that I'm aware of. It's all gone down here. It's all gone from up here. And unless there's some knocking about on the hillside that I've completely not noticed, which there isn't, we now need to have ourselves a bit of a think about pausing these lumberjacks first of all. And as well, with 652 water left to a name, we're going to have to go ahead and unpause all 3 of these water slurpers. It's an absolute shame, like, because we're doing so well with the big lake level. We may have actually got to swim in these bloody pools here. But unlikely now, the fact that we're going to slurp it all up in the next 5 bloody days. And honestly, can you fathom how we're not keeping up with the water here, you know? I don't necessarily want to add a 3rd dump back because I know that 2 work. We literally saw the 2 of them working and overspilling this whole thing. And is this forester for real? Not connected to the district centre? How? Do I have to put a path up here? Because I will. Different testers. I'll put a path up there. Does it actually have to be connected at the back? Because if so, that is just wildly fun. And by wildly fun, I of course mean mildly annoying. And that's alright. That's now a little branch, followed by a branch bridge, followed by a branch bridge. And then last but not least, to actually set it off, the hedge path. Now you are properly connected, once these are built of course. And we've got a proper separation there thanks to popping a branch on between the 2 districts. I will say I'm quite happy with our new little growing area. We've got apples ready to be picked by our fancy little gatherer huts here. I do not believe you need to be unpaused. You've got everything planted. So get paused, pop your fancy little gatherer hat on, and can be useful elsewhere, pal. But down here, we've got maple trees ready to be tapped by the back in the shack. And we've got plenty of mangroves knocking about. Oh, that's not even talking about the bloody plethora of chestnuts we've got going here. I mean, we've got to make sure that Beavers can pay the 15 grilled chestnut toll to go through the fancy park, you know? Oh, and speaking of the fancy park, we need to bloody sort it out. And by sort it out, I of course mean re-D the whole thing. We're going to be popping some lanky shrubs just off the side of the actual hedge gates. And they're maximum priority jobs, otherwise we're going to have beavers trapped in here left, right and bloody centre. And then we're going to individually click these 2 hedges here. One of them being maximum priority, one of them just being normal priority. A whole priority gap. So we shouldn't have beavers getting in each other's way there. And then for the corner, we're going to go in for the short, shrubby shrub. Oh, and I've got beavers banging in from the top. So I think now we should be safe-ish. You're never fully safe in Timberborn to get at least to here. Because the beavers should just be able to kind of run the top and bang them in. Oh, you better not strand you, mate. Right, somehow the beavers managed to get those in correctly. I'm very proud of you. We've got these 2 hedges in. We'll be able to kind of run to get these 2 hedges in. But then, what do we do in this corner? You see the little stubby hedge there? Sort of works in the corner. And then I like these lanky hedges being next to the gates. And I just didn't feel like either of these 2 shrubs bloody fit too well here. Therefore, connected texture, metal lantern. Look at it connecting into the corner there. I bloody love it. And the beavers love it as well whenever they walk past. And since we're done chopping trees doing our here, let's make sure we're not marking any new trees to be cut. Including these 4 down here. We are a peaceful beaver race with different chopped down trees. We'll let them grow. Unless they're already dead, of course, then we'll chop them bloody right down. And before we completely run out of scrap, because I'm consistently forgetting, we're going to have to go ahead and get a bloody mine on the crack. Now I'm just having a look. I know where there's 2 mines, but there might be a 3rd one somewhere where I want to access it. That will be a negative. It's time to go into industry and unlock the big old tree mine here. Oh, look at its upper height and everything. No, but don't do it that way round. We have them both facing each other. And I didn't realise that doors on both sides. Well, I assume this is the front. And if not, we're going to make it the front. Now, directly on top of our fancy pants mines, we're going to have a large pile purely for scrap metal storage. Because if you remember, the trees have got those mad capillaries, and it's not just for water. They'll shoot scrap metal straight in between each one of these segments, all by themselves. And then we plan to get beavers over here is with a fancy pants zipline station, of course. But we need to use the one that looks like a tree. And with these being offset by one, there's no real fancy easy place to pop one of those zipline stations down. Not unless we completely offset it here. And I'm going to try my hand at whipping out a fancy pants 5x5 metal platform with ladder. Not enough science points. Woo, 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 woo. I'm not used to that. Have I got this laddie paused or something? Well, yeah, I do. Get you unpaused. We'll get my science back. And then I can get back to me mad creations and builds. Oh, look at this. We got our army of beaver builders collecting logs and plonking them in the bloody mines. What my plan is here is to create some sort of fake tree around the platform and then have it all sticking out. And I might have to temper my expectations somewhat and go do it to a 3x3 platform. So if I do 3x3, it's just behind the path there, so that's even easier to work with. Let's build ourselves a bloody fake tree, shall we? And since we just landed ourselves in a nice 19-day mad tide, let me unveil our mad little connection tree. Look at that little chode in between the scrappers. It even has its own zip line gone all the way to the district centre. Now that, to be fair, beavers, is going to be a maximum priority jobby, as well as tougher side, because once you get the bare minimum required to get in there, it'll be a lot quicker to build the rest of these mines. Which we need, because we're down to 71 scrap metal. Oh, and in case you're wondering why I've put loads of platforms on the roof, it's because I want to have another gun at this fancy pants roof. See what type of craziness we can create here. So of course, when I got your one roof, then it guns to 2, and then guns to 3, but it then guns back on itself and becomes a whole different roof. Look at that bad lad. Can I put anything on top of it? Oh, that would be cool. If like I could put something on the middle there now. But for now, we'll leave it. It's this fancy little roof shape. I bloody like that, like. I am a fan of that. And to be fair, we might, because all the connected textures and everything, we might be able to pop shrubs round, and because they can round corners, they might not stick over the edge. Ah, it still mildly sticks over the edge. We'll figure something out for trimming this roof. And I'm not going anywhere until there's bloody zip lines in. And we'll see a beaver zip their way out for the first time. Oh, aye. And you may notice that I've actually put some food and water over here for the grafting beavers. I think that's the first time I've ever done that. Clippity clap. Neither wonder it's not getting in. We've got no bloody metal blocks left. Metal blocks? Where are you hiding? Oh, it's because it takes 5 to bloody do this, so there'll be 4 in there, there'll be 3 in there, and now I can make another 2 metal blocks. Not that it helps, to be fair. Not when I need another 5 in here to kickstart the economical growth of that corner of the map. We do, if not else, have this zipline station in, connected, ready to go. I mean, this tree's 170 blocks away from the district centre, you know. They've got to go all the way down there. Look, we've got a hungry beaver dropping off some bloody cogs over there. It's going to take them all neat and most of the morning just to get there, never mind get back. So, you know, really need to get this bloody zipline cracking along with. Oh, look, where this bad lad in? Hello, Fountain of Joy. I cannot wait until we've got out of this operational for our fancy Auld Wee Tree district. Now, I need to delete something to get some metal blocks, but unfortunately, we've got no superfluous metal structures. Every single one of these is bloody strictly necessary. I think the only thing I'd have to do is just sort of take the hit on the branch bridge. Get those 8 bloody metal blocks back. Beavers, seriously, go pick those up and drop them off all the way in the big old chode tree. And I want to be able to see you coming up the path from a mile off. Even though this is a speedy up bit and it'll just be a bunch of green blurs going up and doing the path. And let's just say that speedy up bit ended abruptly because of reasons. Nothing else. Just reasons. And now we'll be able to see the first beaver coming out with a log. The first beavers were actually leaving the coming hour, which I suppose makes sense. They take the long walk there and they're like, sod that, I'm zipping me way back. Oh, I love the little crossover zip lines, like. Look at the beavers, God, they're bloody flying about. Look at those tails flapping in the wind. Oh, and we've got one of these bad lads on, which means we need to go ahead and maximum prioritise the actual walkway onto there. Alright, let's go 10 beavers. You best efficiently mine all of that scrap metal. And hopefully not get too injured in the process. Hang on, what? How are you built? You're paused. No, that's always been paused, that. You always pause it. I need a pause because I need to rebuild the bridge. There we go. We're bridges back in action. Blooming heck, beavers, we're already up to 150 scrap. I'm going to have to unpause all the grinders just to keep up. Oh, and we are dangerously running low on workers, like. That only means one thing. We're going to have to go ahead and unpause some more bloody hooses. Another 2. Why the bloody heck not? Oh, peeps, are you ready for this? If I turn around, you're going to see a leaf coat with a metal block. And if they decide to hammer it in, which they didn't, it will have absolutely unlocked the big, massive pride of the Auld Wee Tree tribute to injure bloody newity. But my question now is, why aren't ye spinning around, bad lad? Is the power not connected? Where's the disconnect? Oh, that's right, I never bloody connected it. If we whip a layer off the world, you'll notice I never popped a bloody power shaft in. It was never gonna get bloody powered, was it? But I do believe that's the last, like, major, and I mean major, metalwork project that we've got up here. We've got a bit of metal needing to be chucked in the fence our yonder way. We've got a bit of temporary metal needing to be chucked in this bridge. But other than that, I do believe we are ready to start planting some beavers. Or at least we will be, once we get all the metal in these bridges as well. So why don't we have ourselves not only a speedy up bit, but a speedy up montage of all of these highest priority builds getting bloody built. And that's it. End of the speedy up montage. Wasn't really much of a montage, was it? It was only bloody 2 bits. What we do need to do is get this forester back up and running. And that is properly connected to the district centre all the way up here. Well, no, this isn't good, is it? Do you mind bloody picking up the speed a bit, please? Now, with our Auld Wee Tree district now officially built, but we even got the fancy fencing and everything there, I reckon it's time to get the big district crossing on the crack. Not only that, but unlock the fecker and all. We're just going to have 2 beavers working either side of this. It's going to be a proper chill situation. And that also means we can finally, and I mean finally, pop the hedge path in here and officially connect this district up here. Ooh, and I just spied ye. Where are ye gonna end up if I press number 1? They're at the district centre, which could be either one of these. Although, if they live in a double housing unit, the chances are they'll live in the big Auld Wee Tree. Let's watch them fly back home. When I pop 24-hour working days on, so we can get on top of here, have ourselves a bit of a lockdown, and an end of episode speedy up bit while we get this district crossing popped in. It's been a while since we've done an end of episode speedy up bit, innit? But I hope you enjoyed this episode of getting the Auld Wee Tree district properly, fully up and running, and be keen for next week where we're gonna plant some beaver plants and grow ourselves a whole new colony. Well, until then, I hope you have yourselves a lovely time and a toodaloo.